Willie, how do you approach tonight? It's obviously a closeout opportunity for you. You know how they're going to approach it. Their season's on the line. So how do you approach it? Like any other game, or what do you do?
Well, I think coming into this environment and this situation, we've got to be prepared to do the things that we've got to be able to do playing against this team. They are a team, at home that's great in transition, so you got to put the premium on the things inside the lines and in between the lines that become very important. Our ability to take care of the basketball, our ability to rebound the basketball, our ability to communicate and defend in a loud environment. I think a lot of times you can get caught with the things that are surrounding the game, but the reality is what we have control over is what's going to take place in between the lines, and how well we can concentrate collectively as a group in between the lines are the things that we need to do.
How important is it for you guys to finish off this series and make sure you're not spending the
Yeah, no, we're not going to worry about the tomorrow. Our focus is on right now. Today is putting everything we have into this game. So I'm sure Golden State's doing the same thing. This is what's in front of us right now. So again, there can be a lot of things surrounding the game, but really what needs to happen is we're going to evaluate ourselves whenever the game is over with by what happened in between the lines for 48 minutes. We're not going to sit there and say, well, geez, the crowd or this or that. We got to put our focus on what's going on in between the lines. That's what we actually have control over, and that's where our focus needs to be.
How do you remind guys, though, to play with a sense of urgency when you're up 3-1 in this series? I know that Steven Adams talked about Mo Cheeks being up 3-1 himself.
Well, we're playing against a great team that's won an NBA championship, that understands, how to pull through things, and that's why they won. What everybody's doing this time of year, the teams that are left playing, it's really hard. There's nothing that's easy. So I think our guys understand how hard this is for everybody. So we've got to try to put our best foot forward and play. Our guys have got great respect for the Warriors and what they've accomplished, not only last year winning a championship, but what they've accomplished this season during the regular season and in these playoffs. So our guys are I don't think it's lost on them that we'll have to play well in this game tonight. And we'll have to play well every game against them.
We talked during the regular season about how you saw progress.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it may not have been steady progress, you saw progress.
Right.
How were you able to kind of convince them that, hey, no, this is getting better?
Well, it's interesting. I always believe this. Sometimes people think that progress is just a steady incline that goes up and up with no adversity. And what ends up happening is you take a step up, and sometimes you go back and you go up. And a lot of times when you look at, if you were to draw a line about this team's progress, you'd see a lot of up, down, up, down, up, down. And I think that's just the way it is in life. It's never, ever just a smooth incline. So there was things that we were doing, during the course of the season that even in some losses, I felt like we had taken a step in the right direction and moved in the right direction. And wanted to continue to encourage our guys to keep on the path that we were on. And again, I think whenever there's change like there was for these guys with me coming in and some new staff members coming in, even when the first game happens, it's like, okay, well, let's see what's new. It doesn't change like that. It takes time to continue to evolve and develop, and I give these guys a lot of credit for putting their best forward to continually try to get better. And I think that's what you want to do as a coach. You want to see is our team better now than they were a week or two ago or a month ago. And that's what you want to do, is continue to improve. And I think the one thing that's happened in the playoffs for us is because we've played against really good teams, it's enabled us to get better. Just like when we came out of the All-Star break and we got hit with that span where, I don't know, whatever it was, we played against that made us better. That helped us. And even though you didn't get wins and losses in the column like you'd like to have them, it still forced us to confront things inside of our team that we needed to get better at.
Bill's been super flexible with your rotations, just on a game-to-game basis in terms of your substitutions and that sort of stuff. I'm wondering if does that flexibility does it help with your history of just kind of in the NCAA single elimination, different opponent each game? Do you think that encourages that sort of ability at the next level when you're going series to series with still different games?
Listen, I've never been a real big believer in a game that you just like at this point this guy goes in the game, at that point this guy goes in the game, and you just stay to those rotations, because what ends up happening is what happens if there's fatigue or foul trouble or bad matchup. I think you have to have the ability to try to be a little bit flexible, on what's going on out there on the court. So I think all of our guys have been really engaged during the year, but there's some times where you may not like the matchup there, and somebody's like rotation may be a little bit different. And I think that's the one thing that I enjoy about our team is, we can play big, we can play small, we can play a lot of different lineups. And sometimes in playing those lineups, I said this before, sometimes it's positive and works out, sometimes it doesn't. But you got to be willing, I think, to take some chances and some risks to try to do some different things based on the roster that we have.